The Berlin Wall, 1961 to 1989. The Cold War. The Berlin Wall would become a symbol of ideological division and suppression of human rights during the Cold War. In August 1961, the communist government of the German Democratic Republic of East Germany began construction of the wall and placement of barbed wire between West Berlin and the East. Its purpose was to stop Western fascists from entering the social state of East Germany and stopping defections from East to West. It would continue to do so until November 9, 1989, when the East German regime announced that its citizens had the right to cross the border when they wanted. The wall goes up. When World War II came to an end in 1945, the victors came together at the Yalta and Potsdam Conference to split Germany into 4 Allied occupation zones. East Germany would go to the Soviet Union, while the western part went to the United States, Great Britain, and France. Even though Berlin was located entirely within the Soviet part of the country, the city would be split into 4 sectors in the same way. The Russians were determined to remove the United States, Britain, and France from Berlin. A Soviet blockade in 1948 attempted to starve them from the city. However, the United States and its allies resisted by dropping food and fuel supplies from aircraft, which became known as the Berlin Airlift. The booming western sector, which was the showcase of capitalism, contrasted sharply to the economically poorer east. Many German refugees flowed from east to west, including highly skilled workers such as doctors, teachers, and engineers. Between 1945 to 1961, 15 to 20% of the East German population had left to the west. Premier Nikita Khrushchev, leader of the Soviet Union, had had enough and gave the East German government permission to close the Berlin borders for good. On the night of August 12 through 13, 1961, East German soldiers, the police force, and volunteer construction workers laid down barbed wire and a concrete block wall which stretched over 100 miles. Escaping East Berlin. Berliners would no longer be able to cross freely with ease to work, shop, or go to the cinema as they had done before. Now, in order to get from east to west, they had to pass through one of 3 checkpoints: checkpoints Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. In October 1961, U.S. Chief of Mission in West Berlin, E. Allen Leitner, was stopped in his car by East German police. This prevention of access for American officials to East Berlin caused a standoff between American and Soviet tanks, which faced off at checkpoint Charlie. For many hours, both sides stared each other down, waiting for the enemy to fire. The potential for World War III was eventually averted when President John F. Kennedy contacted Nikita Khrushchev and convinced him to withdraw his tanks. The American tanks also backed away soon after. Armed soldiers patrolled the wall and would shoot anyone on sight attempting to escape. Ditches, barbed wire, guard dogs, searchlights, and minefields were all also set up to prevent escape attempts. Buildings overlooking the wall were demolished or had their windows bricked up so that people could not escape by jumping from them. At least 171 people were killed trying to cross the wall. But this didn't mean escape was impossible. Hundreds of East Germans tried to escape across the wall, including by flying a hot air balloon, by zipline, on a tightrope, in a car without a windshield, by swimming, and through a tunnel. While President John F. Kennedy protested, he realized a wall was better than war. The Berlin Wall had diffused tension and stopped the flow of refugees from East Berlin. The fall of the wall. On November 9, 1989, with the Cold War thawing and political changes happening across the Eastern Bloc, the Eastern German government announced that all GDR citizens could visit West Germany and West Berlin. Crowds of East Germans crossed and climbed onto the wall and celebrated with West Germans on the other side. People knocked down the wall with hammers, and soon, with the help of bulldozers, it was pulled down. The reunification of East and West Germany was made official on October 3, 1990. What Berlin Wall escape attempt did you find most interesting? Leave a comment below. Subscribe to our channel for more animated history videos. Get Simple History of the Cold War out today.